Thank you so much for having me. I'd like to thank Nick for having me on. We're going to talk a little bit about our offense here in Chapman, Kansas. We are a Flexbone offensive team. We do some unique things, though, as far as where we've come from to get to this point. My contact information is on there. I'm Kurt Webster. My email address is on there, kwebster@usd473.net. And of course, there's a Twitter contact on there as well. We've opened up a lot of doors for some of our players, and it's been great for me to meet other coaches and reach out to other coaches via Twitter. So there's my Twitter handle. I always like to share content and get content on there as well. So let's get into it and let's get started here. Like I said, we'll be talking about the Chapman Irish Flexbone offense. So some things that make us very, very unique about Chapman. We are a very, very small town in a huge district. One of my players can live in our district and live an hour away from a teammate. Okay, we are a military town. We're near Junction City, Fort Riley. We don't have a great history of success here, and coaches before me, there have been some great coaches here. Coach Swin is now the offensive coordinator at Washburn. Dan Sell won a state championship at Junction City as a defensive coordinator. And great coaches have had a little bit of trouble here, whether it's just because of not a lot of kids out for football. We have a unique situation. So also we were hit by a tornado pretty badly, and we had to rebuild a lot of our facilities and things like that. And so that was around 2008. But we have some very, very positive things in our community that have allowed us to turn this thing around. And, we've been very blessed. But before I took this job, they hadn't had a winning season in Chapman for 12 years. And in my short tenure here, we've had 2 winning seasons out of 4 and won a league championship and really done a good job of flipping it. And we're still continuing to build. But we have tough kids here. And, I think your offensive identity has to match your kids and your parents and the people around the school. So we have tough kids. We have military kids. We have farmers. We have tough kids from Enterprise, a little town right in between us and Abilene. We have a great administration that, honestly, when I took the job, that was one of the biggest reasons why. Our athletic director is a former high school football coach. He came back on staff with us now. Our administration, our principals have been great, and the town wants to win. They want to they come out and they support, and they want a winner here. And so we've been working our tail off to find what fits our town best. So how we found success, we wanted to watch and film from the year before I was here. And like I said, Dan Sell is a great coach, and comes from that Blue Valley pipeline at Junction City. And they had a lot of negative plays, and really not a scheme fault, just, bad snaps in shotgun, quarterback taking sacks. So a lot of big negative plays. So one of the first things that we wanted to do was try and eliminate all the big negative plays. So we wanted a downhill attacking run game, okay, that, we don't want to have to block any more people than we have to. So really, I was up as an assistant. I was at Shawnee Mission West in Kansas City and got to see Dustin Delaney at Shawnee Mission East, who won a state championship there, twice a year. Got to clinic and be really close to Randy Dreiling, who's won 7 or 8 state championships in the state of Kansas. And so the idea was, let's take those ideas and bring them to Chapman when I became a head coach. So our plays that we run, how we found success: triple option plays. We do run an inside veer, and an old school outside veer, which not a lot of people do anymore, and a midline triple, a midline option where we're counting and we're reading triple, and we'll talk about that later. Our double option plays are just your normal midline play. We do run an inside veer double, which is unique, that not a lot of people run. Some people use it as a change up. More we that's one of our base plays, and we love it. Other plays, base plays, where we're just base blocking, or we're blocking a similar scheme to one of our other schemes up front. We run zone dive, we run zone option, We run ISO, counter ISO, rocket toss, and down G. That seems like a lot, but as you'll see when we get going into this, we don't teach a whole lot of schemes. So once our linemen have it, they know how, and then the only thing that really changes is the window dressing and the fit there. So just looking at our stats for our offense there, and some of these can be a little bit misleading because we're a 3A school in Kansas, and a lot of our players, the majority of our players, play both ways. So we want to give our, I think philosophy-wise, if you want to go fast and tempo, how long can you do that if all the players are playing the same position? So we wanted to slow down on offense and go as hard as we can when we snap the ball. But we wanted to take a full rest, get those kids so they're fresh on defense, and really pound the football. So in 2018, our year when we won the league and went undefeated in the league and had a nice playoff run, we averaged 310 yards rushing per game, 37 passing, and 347 total. 2019, we were not as successful overall, but we did run for 276 a game, 280 passing. We had a quarterback come in 2019 that could really throw the ball, and he's a great talent. He's going to go and be a preferred walk-on at K-State down the road. Great talent, great kid, military kid, leader type of kid you want. So our stats kind of skewed a little bit in terms of rushing because we could throw the ball. So some of those rushing yards went to the passing yards. And this last season, we got back on the winning track. We had a winning season. Had a couple games canceled by COVID, and we averaged 275 rushing and 80 passing for a total of 355. So how did we get here? And that's a picture there is our in 2019, we had a tackle that's now playing at South Dakota University in Kel Stroud. So he's, the hometown hero, though, there. Okay, so our core offensive philosophy. So how do we, what do we believe in? What do we want to make work? What has to work when we take the field? Offensive core philosophies. Okay, we want to reset the line of scrimmage and establish the fullback. Okay, there's several ways that we do that. But if there's no threat of you getting spiked right in the middle of the field and getting gashed for, that 5 yards, that really doesn't make them squeeze, and it makes it harder on the perimeter when the other team is feeling like they don't have to squeeze. Okay. So plays that we'll run to do that. Okay. We'll show you on the next plays, but I think you can guess by the opening slide, your zone dives, your outside veers, down G's, that sort of thing. Okay. Other philosophy, we don't want to block any more people than we have to, and we want to stretch the field horizontally. Okay. So we want to leave players unblocked. Okay. We want to make sure that we're punching through the line of scrimmage. We double team more than most triple option teams do. If you watch, Harding or Bethel, they've had incredible success. We double team a little bit more than them. That's part of the Randy Dreiling in me that, just wants to move people to the linebacker level. And then your other thing, you have to have counters and answers. If the other team is doing something, you have to have answers for bear fronts, for 4-3s, for 3-4. You got to have answers for everything. Pinchers, A-gap pluggers. You got to have answers and counters. Okay, so we'll talk about that later when we get into the film portion here. Okay, so plays that match our philosophy. So how do we make that? How do we make our play calling fit our philosophy? So reset the line of scrimmage and establish the fullback. Okay, outside veer. Okay, not a lot of people see outside veer. Not a lot of people run outside veer. If you run zone dive well enough for certain fronts, it turns into outside veer. But I'm a person who wants to run outside veer versus anything. It's essentially almost a full zone play with a double team. And we had great success doing that in 2018. We've kind of gotten away from it a little bit, and I think that's been one of the reasons we've struggled a little bit in 2019, getting away from it. Zone dive is our play where we're going to establish the fullback primarily in the B gap. He can bounce C depending on the front and the look, which you'll see. And then ISO. If we're having our way with people and we're trying just to run the clock off, if our slot we feel like is a good matchup, it's not like some larger schools or even at a Bethel or a Harding where those slots are just pure speedsters. Sometimes our slot's just a big kid that can block a little bit. So we might just want to ISO that guy up and run on some old school belly, and we'll do that. Okay, other plays that fit the schemes here: don't block any more than you have to. Inside veer, midline, inside veer double. We want to make rocket toss, just throw it out wide, rip and run. We want to make it really, really tough on the number one, the read key, the defensive end. Okay, so you could be getting blasted in double team, like on an outside veer. You could be getting red on midline. On inside veer. There's all sorts of things that we can do to really ruin that number one, that read key's day. Okay, so counters and answers. I'm going to count mid triple as a counter, and you'll see why our A back. Our B back. Our A back, I guess you would call it. We call it right and left. Goes in motion and then comes out the back, and so we count that as a counter play. We have a counter ISO and then a counter ISO pass. And then, of course, the switch pass if you're getting too many people down in the box and those safeties are cheating. And we have some screens also. Okay, so talking about how we establish our option count here. Okay, so number one is going to be the handoff key. Number two, pitch key. And number three is the man that we need to block who is responsible for pitch. So if you hear me say number one, or handoff key, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about that first guy on or outside the tackle from a 4-eye on out. That's a guy that we're going to read the majority of the time on our inside veer plays. If we're running a midline play, it'd be the first guy on that from a 2-eye out there, and then the number 3 is the guy that we have to block with our perimeter tags. Okay, so our tag system is different than Bethel or Harding. It's the Randy Dreiling, which I think he's at St. Thomas Aquinas in Kansas City now, which I think this comes from back in the 90s Air Force days, early 90s tag system, and it's just sort of stayed here. So, for example, we can make our tags right to make any sort of inside veer double to make it work, so we block the perimeter correctly. And this, you can play an unlimited amount of games with this. If you want to, you can go 12-2-8 or whatever if you want to go unbalanced. There's a lot of different things you can do with the tags to gain numbers based on what the defense is doing. So if we were just running inside veer to the left here, we would go, if versus a 2-high set, okay, we'd go 13-7, where we're arcing and blocking number 3, the safety there. Okay, different from most Flexbones. We have a lot of numbers being thrown out there, but the kids get it, and we've installed it for 4 years now, and I think Harding and those guys, they use words, which it's the same thing. You're saying the same thing, and in fact, some of our tags for offensive linemen are words. So tight end tags are 1 through 4. So 1, block man on. 2, block play side backer. 3, the high man on your side of the field. 4, the widest man on your side of the field. Slot tags. 5 is a load block. So you're going to go block the play side backer. 7, we're arcing to safety. 6, we want to hook the D-gap player. And then 8, we want to go get the corner there. So an example would be versus an 8-man box versus a 4-4. Okay, we go 12-5 or 12-5 or 13-5. Like even numbers to the right, odd numbers to the left. So there would be an example of 12-5 here. So we'd combo the shade up to the second level. We'd veer release, aiming for play side backer. Okay, not chasing, but aiming for play side backer. If he scrapes, take the next thing going, and then our R would be loading on the play side backer. And then, of course, number 1, number 2, handoff key, read key. Okay, so you can see we can do this versus a multitude of fronts. You can do, you can set your tags, and the kids know the tags, quarterbacks know the tags. So when they're up to the line of scrimmage, based on what front they're seeing, there's a 4-4. This is mid triple. So they go 11-8 there. All these plays the top plays are going to the left, bottom plays are going to the right. So our receivers know that on an 8 call, 2 high, crack high, 1 high, crack low. So that's why here, 1 high, cracking low, 2 high, down here, 2 high, cracking high. On the 4-3s, 3 linebacker sets, you got to get creative. I believe Harding might call this a Texas swap. We call it, this would be 11-8 Fritos crack. So Fritos, tackle arc to free safety, crack, just a crack call, tells him to crack low. Like I said, some of our tags are words, most of them are numbers. But it's funny, you in Flexbone, you have to keep finding answers to things that you see. And, if you're just doing it, on your own for a little bit and you're not connected, I swear I invented Texas Fritos crack, and then you find out that, teams like, Bethel and Harding have been doing it, for years and years and years, and you just sort of did it by necessity. So it's funny how we arrive at the same concepts in different systems here. So total blocking schemes that we teach inside veer, outside veer, a midline triple, base blocking. So we're basing the man on us, no man on. You're comboing with the center on a shade and going to backside backer, or base the man on you. A rocket toss, we're ripping and running, and then our G play. So practice time, because of how few running schemes we run and how many option plays we run. Okay, so we can have any time where we do our everyday drills, where you talk about your veer releases, and some of that is pre-practice, but we're really restricted on practice time here. Like I said, we have big districts, so we bus kids home after practice, so they got to get out of here because some have to make the bus to get home. So we have to be really, really structured. Okay, during that period, you can go 4-on-4 with your guard, center, and fullback versus 2 down linemen and your linebackers. That's more of a Harding thing. I'm sure when you guys get with them, or you hear them talk, they're really, really good at that sort of stuff. Perimeter drill will mix in where our tackles are working with our slots on their tag calls. Say we're going to Fritos crack that week. We think we're going to see a 4-3. We're going to spend more time with our tackles with our slots. So we'll go work on our base blocks, our veer releases, our scoops, our long scoops, our short scoops on the backside, and we'll spend about 15 minutes on that every day. Then we'll go to option drill, where we're just running option plays and play action passes. Half line is our option plays and attitude plays, we call it. So our zone dives, our outside veers, our just straight up ISOs, and so option and attitude plays. Plays that we want to reset the line of scrimmage. And then, of course, we have team period after that, and that's all the offense we spend in a day. It allows us to really concentrate on defense. And if you're, I think, this presentation might be good for some people. If you're taking over a struggling program, you really have to prioritize what's important. And what's important to us is getting off the ball and blocking option correctly, and then spending a lot of time on defense. Because you can out-scheme some people, you can do some things that are tough for defenses to defend. But when the other team gets the ball, if you can't tackle and you can't line up correctly, you're behind the 8 ball. So we get to spend a lot of time on defense because of how regimented we are on offense. Okay, so with that being said, that's our practice plan. I'd like to show you guys some film of what we're talking about. Make sure it all makes sense to you. Okay, so here is our outside veer play. I'm going to go right in order of what we talked about for our big core philosophy. So we want to reset the line of scrimmage, and we're actually running this to our weaker side. Normally we try and have it's just how it's been here. We have a larger side of the offensive line, and then we have a smaller, quicker side that we scoop to more. We don't flip flop, but we'll just be a little bit right or left-handed depending on the year you catch us. Okay, so this is our outside veer, and we're running at a wider path. We normally run inside veer to the inside leg of the guard. Now we're going inside leg of tackle. Fullback, this kid, we don't teach a 4-point fullback stance, but that kid was a tough son of a gun, and we let him do what he liked to do. You run for 1,400 yards, you can pick your stance. So we're getting a double team, really a triple team almost on this play side. Number one, this defensive end. So we're high here, but like I said, that's not our great side, and we play with a little tight end this year. But we're gonna reset the line of scrimmage. Line of scrimmage reset right there. Okay, quarterback knows this guy's up the field. Our slot's underneath him. Easy give read. Fullback's able to cut it outside for a 13-yard gain. And one of the reasons why we run zone dive and outside veer, I want the quarterback to have the ability to pull the ball on that too. If you look at some split back veer teams that run outside veer, I mean, it's a thing of beauty, and I really, really like that. And we wanted to try and keep that quarterback able to pull the ball. So here's, again, outside veer. Again, this is against a team that was jumping on all sorts of different fronts on us. We catch them in 3 down here. We're going to run it to the tight end. Just watch the play side defensive end. I mean, that's an attitude play. When we talk about attitude plays, what we want to do when we get into that option and attitude period, I mean, boom. Fullback gets in behind it, and we've driven that guy 15 yards off the ball. The big thing is you can turn your players loose. We're all zone stepping to that side. We're centers scooping the nose, backside guard scooping. We got a lot of guys on that level. There shouldn't be able to be a run through. The thing that you have to watch out for, if you get a 2-eye, if you want to run it versus a forefront and you get a 2-eye, that's tricky. You kind of have to use a little bit of almost wide zone rules there, but we'll talk about that. Okay. We need to do a little bit better job of our quarterback getting into the line of scrimmage, but in terms of resetting the line of scrimmage, it doesn't get a lot better than that. And those plays wear on you. If you're a defensive end and you're getting that's a physical brand of football. Okay, so again, this team also, Wamigo, good big 4A school from up the road on the other side of Manhattan. Okay, they always have big, good-looking players. I mean, look at their secondary. Look at these linebackers. Good-looking players. And they'll change fronts. They'll jump from a 4-3 to a 3-4. And outside veer was kind of the equalizer. So reset the line of scrimmage. The fullback, okay, he knows on outside veer, okay, that we are not blocking this guy. So he has to hug the tackle as much as he can. That's why it's a dead play if you don't reset the line of scrimmage. You got to hug the tackle's back. And there he's able to break a tackle. And, if he's got a little extra speed there, he gets in. Okay, but that's why we still run outside veer. Some Flexbone teams don't do it. Okay, here's against they've reduced down into almost a bare front on this side. Why I like to still run outside veer instead of zone dive sometimes is to give the quarterback the option to pull this ball if there's a breakdown on the perimeter. Okay, so you see they've reduced it into a bare front, so the guy that has to squeeze and take the dive is now the outside linebacker. Outside linebacker takes dive, quarterback pulls it, and there's nobody there. And again, this is against Marysville. I think a 9-win team that year, and we beat them in the opening game of the year when we won our league there. Here's the end zone film. Okay, like I said, we have a 3 and we have a wide 9. So, sorry, film jumped a little there. Our slot, our play side tight end's able to get all the way down to play side backer, and we pull that thing, and there's not anybody left. Okay, so that's a great play for short yardage. Okay, again, attitude plays we talked about. Okay, now you've been getting double teamed here. Okay, now like I said, this is Wamego again. Now they're 4-3 or 6-1, however you want to call it. Okay, and so now we're just gonna base. We're gonna base block. Okay, so boom, 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 hat on a hat, slot through the play side back. Sorry, the middle backer tried to shoot a gap. Our center picks him up, heads on the wrong side. Okay, we get a slot through the hole, and we get a big attitude play. Like I said, your scheme has to fit your dudes, and like this guy's was one of the toughest dudes we've had come through here. Okay, our quarterback got hurt. Now we got our backup quarterback in. Just straight ISO football. If you run everything else well, okay, so we're going to get base block here. We're going to combo off. We're going to meet him in the hole. I mean, our slots here are about 140 pounds. We cut off that block, and before he's able to make a big play there. Okay, and then this is, again, backup fullback here. Okay, not a big guy, probably about 150 pounds, but you reset the line of scrimmage, scorched through there, and you got an 11-yard gain just running the easiest play you could possibly run. They're a 3-3 stack team. Okay, it doesn't make any difference to us. We're scooping the backside. We're going to scoop the nose. We're going to get our guard up to the mic. Okay, our slot's going to insert and take the stack, and we're going to base out with the tackle. Just an easy ISO play. I mean, don't need to explain this. You know, it's simple. But again, what's the worst thing that can happen in an ISO play? We talked about creating an offense where there's no negative plays. Okay, when we took over, worst thing that can happen in an ISO play, you get you have to start over at 2nd and 10 or 2nd and 9. Okay. Now here, this is also an ISO play too. I don't know why we did this. I can't. Trying to think, but here we go, no-mo, and our quarterback does not belly out. So it looks kind of like a zone dive. Everybody's, saying, well, what a great zone dive on this play, but it's actually just ISO. And this is our fullback who was a sophomore on this clip. This last year, he was a junior and spent most of the year in quarantine, and then first game back breaks his foot. So we'll have him back this year. We played this whole last year with our backup fullback, who's a great kid and a tough kid too. And if you'll notice, when you're taking over a team that struggled, you got to get the kids to buy in, believe, and really be supportive of each other, because there's lots of negativity around. But look at number 4 right here. That's the backup fullback running down the sideline, jumping up and down because the starter scored. So, that's just something that is cool to see. Okay. We'll get to the other stuff. Okay, so same type of idea. Now we're attacking B gap with the same type of philosophy to reset the line of scrimmage. So we're going to block zone dive for teaching purposes right now. We'll just say we're blocking zone dive like inside veer. Okay, we're going to power veer release with a tackle. We're going to get up the field and look at our tackle, maul the play side backer. The backside scoops. Our center and guard are able to get all the way through. This team, this is Council Grove. They were playing all sorts of games, moving around on us. They have a big front, hard to outside veer. Look at number 77, number 33. These boxed in. Our quarterback is a really good player. People are doing things to try and take him away. Zone dive for 10 yards. Again, same idea. Now we're attacking B gap really, really hard. Our guard and our tackle straight ahead. We follow it with our fullback straight in zone. Okay, so those are our reset the line of scrimmage plays, attitude plays. That's what we want to do. Your last clip of an inside veer with the backup fullback in there now. The starter broke his foot. This is the first game back. Another thing, good culture thing. Quarterback, number 7, like this, realizes it's busted, runs in front and tries to throw a block for the fullback. That's K-State's getting a good kid there. Okay, so now we've talked about resetting the line of scrimmage. So those are the plays that you have to run to make the defense respect your fullback. For us, it's outside veer, inside veer, ISO, and then some down G. We're not masters in down G yet. We have had some good plays in it, but I didn't want to try and pull the wool over your eyes by showing a bunch of down G clips when we don't run it that often. So the other thing is now that you've established the fullback, the great thing about zone dive is it forces the defensive end to squeeze. Okay, so now once you see what that end is doing, and now he's starting to squeeze. If he was playing games before, now he has to squeeze because he's sick of giving up 5 yards a pop. So we're getting a squeezer. We pull it, pitch it. That was sort of a charity pitch by our quarterback to get the outside linebacker. This is the big 4A school, 7 miles to our west, Abilene. This is the biggest rivalry, the oldest rivalry west of the Mississippi. And we've beaten them the last 3 years. We got a brand new, beautiful turf field. So there's our inside veer play. This is against another brand new, beautiful turf field. Concordia had some absolute creatures this year. Look at these linebackers. Look at this D line. Okay, we don't want to mess with any of that, so we're going to go inside veer. We switch block the edge here. This is an 8 tag, so our receiver's going to crack. Our slot's going to go get the corner, and we get a healthy gain of 16 there. Okay, now that we know we got him squeezing. Again, same thing, quarterback pull pitch. And gosh, if we could just get a little bit better perimeter blocking here. These guys are both juniors. They'll be back. Okay, but that play, instead of goes for 11, might go for 6. Okay, here again versus Goodland. We drove all last game of the year. Weird year. We drove all the way out to Goodland, about 15 miles from the Colorado border. We played them and got a win to end the year. So there's the dive phase. So if they aren't squeezing or they're trying to stim around and do crazy stuff, just give the ball. And he scored there. I think they marked him down at the 1-inch line. Okay, so the back view of that. Okay, this guy slants out. They're trying to play games. Quarterback sees it, gives it, and we have a crease. Oh, I don't know why it stopped there. Okay, again, we rushed for 480 yards this game against Goodland up there. So quarterback now pulling the ball, our slot. Now we see 3-3. We treat 3-3 like 4-4. So we tag it with a load. Our slot gets on the load block, and our quarterback, special player, great kid. One of our 6 seniors on the team. So we're lucky. Small class, lucky we had great leadership to pull us through. The large class is a junior class, so next year we hopefully will have a great year. Look at resetting the line of scrimmage on inside veer, attitude play, pull the ball, pitch it. That's pretty good proximity too. He's out in front of the quarterback. Could be hitting it a little harder downhill. 17-yard gain there. Again, end zone view, pull pitch, balls on the perimeter. And really, if you're good at timing the perimeter blocks, your arc blocks, and your switch blocks, where those guys aren't in a big hurry, they'll make contact with the ball carrier. They'll make contact with the defender right as the ball's going by them. And that's what you want. You want that proximity, right? So here's same play, but now I just want to show you a different formation out of inside veer here. So now we're in trips. We're going to sort of tail motion here, and we're going to get a hat on the perimeter here. There's our tight end, scrappy kid. This is him when he's a sophomore. He'll be a senior next year. Love that kid. Hard blocker. But if you look at the action, it's inside veer with different action now. This was a 3-4 team that liked to man up. So there's play side safety, backside safety. We get the backside safety with the tight end. Play side safety we get with a great hold there. Okay. Other things following the same idea of not blocking any more than we have to. Okay, here's a midline play where now we're going to read the 2-eye here. We're going to get all the way underneath the 2-eye. We're going to get a great out block by our tackle here. We're going to get a seal on the backer with a wrap through. I don't know if you noticed that. So play side slot is going in to get the mic. Backside slot is wrapping through for play side backer. And if you got if you got a quarterback like this, you get a lot of guys in front of him and let him go. We were very, very fortunate. We had some COVID issues. We had some guys miss some games, but not him. It's a good deal. And here's midline out of a different formation. Okay, now instead of wrapping through, now this guy's going to be out removed from the formation. We said that they're a man team. This is Halstead from year 4. Very, very good football team. They removed their safety from the box. Okay. We pull it. Guard's supposed to take play side backer. He does not. We're lucky we got an athlete there. Makes a big play, big run. Okay. Now running it 2 or 3 tech. Play side slot has to do a great job on the play side backer. Does it good enough there. My gosh, if our eyes are up, we get the free safety and we're off to the races there. Okay. This is midline again, where we're going to the tight end side versus a 4-3. So we're going out. These 2 guys have these 2 guys. Out. Quarterback misses the crease there. It just takes reps. That's why next year we got a lot of guys coming back, but we'll have to train up that QB, train up whoever our new QB is going to be. Okay, and then our favorite play that is unique to us that not a lot of other people run, inside veer double. So we run it to the tight end, or sometimes we'll stand them up so they don't know what the heck's going on. We'll have that guy block number 2 out. We'll still read number 1, and we'll wrap through. It's almost like if you're a wishbone guy, or you the wishbone in the 80s and 90s, okay, where you'll run inside veer, pull it, and give it to the next guy through. It's kind of like that, only the quarterback's the next guy through. Okay, so we're going to wrap our motion all the way around. Okay, this guy's going to squeeze, quarterback pulls. We get another hat through the box for the safety. And our quarterback is off to the races there, 42-yard gain. Again, Abilene had some trouble with this play. So you see it again. It's essentially your midline with your wrap through, except it's not midline. It's pushed out to inside veer again, inside veer double. Our quarterback was a great runner. We wanted another play for him to be able to run the ball. There's it again. We get a good pancake there. 2 long touchdown runs on that play. Okay, and then other thing to stretch the ball, okay, to make them defend the whole field horizontally. Of course, we have just our rocket toss where we're ripping and running. This is great here. So we're going to swap block the edge there, or we're going to what we call a crack block. If you're somebody who speaks Harding language there, swap block. So we're going to block the outside backer down. We're going to get tackle and slot around. And actually, that's our number 50, our guard out there. So we're not getting touched for 50 yards. So one thing that I would say in running Flexbone, keep an eye on the D-gap players. If the D-gap player is cheated tight up to the line of scrimmage, trying to stop zone dive or get involved in folding, okay, you got to be good at throwing rocket toss out there. Okay. Again, just a rocket toss clip. Again, we had number 11 here, was a very fast, good player for us. Okay, so now let's talk about your counters. Okay, counters and answers. Okay, mid-triple, I said I counted as a counter. It's one of the best plays in football, I believe. You don't have to block 2 players on the defensive line. Okay, you're on the perimeter. This is versus a 3-3. We're going to crack the low outside linebacker. We're going to counter motion. We always tell the kid, finish your motion. Don't be in a rush, because we want you as close to the ball as you can be. So all we got to do is barely touch that guy and we're by. Okay, so counter motion holds the safety. We get a great 2-for-1. Look at this. Great job Backer cracks low, gets him on the ground, then gets up to second level and gets hands on the safety. Okay. Mid triple for a long one there. Okay. Again, mid triple is an Okie front killer. So if you got 4, 0, and 9s, mid triple is a great play here versus an Okie front. Ball's out, hat on a hat. See, if your proximity is good, and this is not perfect, but they're close enough where this guy doesn't even have to really get a hand on that guy, and you're off to the races there. Another coaching point there is this receiver. We want to try and make sure that this safety goes underneath him. If he goes underneath, then we got a chance to break it hash number sideline. So gets underneath, gets that top field shoulder and route. Here's the back view. Again, don't block any more people than we have to. Stretch the field horizontally. Fits our core philosophies, and it's a counter play. Again, this Halstead, I think on 10 or 11, won 10 or 11 games this year. Very big, aggressive guys. Ran a lot of mid-triple versus in this game. Pull, pitch, balls on the edge. And, if you're struggling blocking and tackling, you can find a lot of guys who can do this. This guy's a hard worker for us and a great player. Just misses this block there, but he gets enough of them that we're by him. Okay, here's the cool one. Here's the Fritos crack. So you'll see our slot. Our tackle. He's going to go around the slot to the safety. Now, what the backfield action does, it's make the safety cheat to the middle. Okay, and it'll give our tackle, who this guy right here is 180 pounds, little tackle. Okay, it'll give him, look at the angle, gives him a chance to arc around him and make the safety go underneath. That's outstanding. We don't even really block him. Just invite him underneath, and then we're off to the races there. Okay. Again, this is our playoff game versus Clearwater. 3-3 stack, pounding up in there, making it tough to run our reset the line of scrimmage attitude plays. Get the ball out on the edge. Our proximity is not great here, but we get it to a kid with some jets, and we're able to score there. Oh, sorry. Again, tons of great midline triple. Again, this is Wamego. They had a great team this year. Big, aggressive. We get the ball on the perimeter, and we're able to move the ball. Okay, so counters and answers now. And we actually get two guys up to the Mike backer, their best player, their guy who can really run. Okay, our other counter plays, so we just run a counter ISO just like you would out of old Wishbone. Okay, so we're gonna base block the front side, still scoop the back side. We're gonna fake to the fullback. Play side slot will lead through after he does his quick counter motion. And with Flexbone, you get so much coming out motion to that your zip motion side. You throw in this counter every once in a while. And again, we hit it big here versus Abilene for a touchdown. Look at the hole open up from the backside here. That's a pretty nice crease, and that's a very, very simple, easy play to teach. That fits our attitude, and that's a counter play. So if teams are, Marysville always does a good job of giving us a different look. So they were a 3-4 team that on the snap of the ball was dropping safety and bumping to get to a 3-3 stack look. So we ran our counter ISO there. Our tackle misses his block, but with the misdirection, we're able to get it in the end zone there. And then off of that, so we run that play every now and then. Okay, gets them thinking about that when they see the counter motion. Now you got to get your safeties involved. So again, the mixer and fixer off of that, we'll run a counter option pass. So we like to get in compressed in what we call star formation. We'll run a corner out of that front side. So same counter action look. We've snuck a receiver out of there. All we got to do is get rid of the ball, and he's normally pretty wide open. Also the drag too. Again, here we go. Counter option pass. We're pretty wide open there. If we can stay on our feet on that one, we probably have a touchdown. Okay, so it was big on big blocking. Okay, so we're big on the front side. And we're slide on the back side. Trying to slide reach in man line of scrimmage. Also good for 2-point conversion here for the drag. Okay, you get your counter ISO. Looks like it's coming right there. Look what it does to the backside safety, who's responsible for the drag route. He is completely up in the C gap. Pull it. Got a good quarterback. Sets his feet. Hits it. Okay. Backside view, and this is Sabetha. You know, if you follow Kansas high school football, Sabetha's won the state championship in 2017 and 2018. We had them first game of the year this year, and we beat them. Played very well. That was one of the plays that. Now here's something fun. If you have, there's another counter play. We run dabble in a little counter option. Our center was one of our best linemen this year, so we down blocked the front side, allowed our center to pull and wrap for play side backer. So here's counter option. Quarterback's going to turn the opposite way. We're going to get counter motion. There's our counter motion. Pull, we flip, ball on the edge. Number 10 makes number 7 go underneath him. Number 7's a really good player, though. Okay, there's our counter option play. And then, of course, your last little answer, I think as a Flexbone coach, you have to be able to throw a switch route. If the free safety is getting involved in the run game, if the play side safety is getting involved in the run game, you have to be able to, we can press the formation here, sell inside veer, and our fastest receiver is running straight up the seam. Really, we could have thrown it to either right there. There's our wheel route out of the backfield. Catches it. Get tackled in the end zone there. Again, for Sabetha. Okay, very, very good football team. This kid's going to North Dakota. Able to play action them. Look how close the safeties are in the box because they know that they got to play. They were 3-2 exchanging mid-triple. So, this guy's going wide and trying to take pitch, and this guy's trying to play quarterback. So we 3-2 exchange. We run right by and you can see the 3-2 exchange. Look at the 9 run with the arc, and we run right by the play side safety and hit it. There you go again. Quarterback's a tough kid too. Played with a fractured bone in his elbow. We didn't know until after the years, and his throwing arm. Really tough kid. Puts it right on the money there. Good catch receiver. Okay. Again, so switch route. We showed you off inside veer action. This is off a rocket toss action, just window dressing in the backfield. We're going to fake rocket toss. We're going to run the switch. These guys are very, very disciplined. Good team here in our league. Always one of the top teams in our league. So they cover the switch, but they don't run with the wheel, and we hit the wheel for a touchdown on them. Okay. So, like I said, a lot of very, very few scheme plays, but they fit our core philosophies. So I'll just fixers and mixers that we talked about here. Here is what we call 14Q. So it's outside veer, but now the again versus Sabetha, who's very, very disciplined, very, very good. We're gonna need a double team on the play side defensive end. Tight end's gonna come off to play side backer. We're gonna read this guy because we know they're a 3-2 exchange team. Our fullback is gonna kick the first thing off the tight end, and it's essentially looks a lot like QB power. Get our QB to the second level is the first play of the game versus Sabetha. If you know you're getting a 3-2 exchange, and honestly, our fullback should know, don't chase a chaser. go wrap up in here and go take the corner. Then we'd even have a bigger play because we won't get slowed down right there. It's a backside safety who ends up tripping him up, and then backside corner, who I believe makes a tackle. Okay, so from the end zone view, and really we also run the same exact play that we're talking about right now. We run it versus 14 blocking scheme right here versus some fronts, and then some fronts we block it like inside veer and block, run inside veer and have the tight end block down, and then kick, and then D-gap player with the fullback, and then QB's keeping the ball there too. So we block it two different ways. Just easy to do though, because it's just either inside veer or outside veer blocking scheme for them. So watch, we'll get in this guy's chest, and like I said, this guy's their stud going to North Dakota, and we're able to get our helmet on the correct side and get a hat on him. Then we're off the races. So that's our 14Q play, just like outside veer, just a mixer and a fixer to get you an extra blocker out in front. Now, two, COVID season, and look, in my first 3 years here, we had taken absolutely 0 snaps out of the shotgun. We had some players go down, wanted to give a different look, so we still are probably only taking about 5 snaps out of the shotgun. But here is inside veer out of gun with 2 back. I guess we look kind of like Georgia Southern here, I'd say. So we're going to run. There's our fullback. He's going to be the dive back. Our tight end is lined up as the H. He's going to wrap and block play side backer. Also a great changeup versus a 4-3. If you're having trouble winning those blocks with your slots, put the tight end in here, wrap him on their really good linebacker. We get a hat on a hat. Quarterback pulls the ball. We got good pitch relationship right here. And we get a good 9 or 10 yard gain here off of inside veer. And if you look at our line, I mean, we got one guy that really weighs over 200 pounds. Maybe our center might be 200, but where you're looking at 180, 190, 195, 200, and then 270 at our right tackle. Okay. So we want to be able to get the ball on the perimeter and let those guys tee off as much as we can. So again, here's another mixer and change up, our gun look. Okay, so now we're going to run. So we're just going to look like we're running inside veer. Okay, with the back coming out the opposite way. But instead, we're going to bring the wrapper, bring the tight end across. Tight end's going to log the end. And fullback is going to kick play side backer. So we get a nice pancake there. Quarterback bounces it. And then a nice 7 yard gain. So just a little dabbling that we did on the perimeter there. So that's the big scheme ideas of what we want to do and how that translates to our plays on the field. So I'll go back and I'll show you again what we talked about. Our big philosophies. We want to reset the line of scrimmage. We talked about that. We don't want to block any more than we have to. We want to be aggressive. We want to punch a hole in that defense, and we want to stretch the field horizontally by getting the ball to our backs. And we want to have counters. And midline triple is our best counter, and we really specialize in that. And that's all one of our biggest plays. Because we run inside veer double, which is unique to us. Our quarterbacks the last 3 years have averaged 8 yards per carry. Hopefully we keep that going. And we got kids like this. This is our fullback, who is our fullback for the majority of the year, 160-pound kid, just a tough farm kid who loves playing football. So you got to find what fits your group and your community the best. And I would say in parting, I hope maybe you're able to pick up something from this philosophy-wise. I know I really wish that when I was taking over a struggling program, that somebody would have took me into the ring and said, hey, these are the most important things that you need to focus on right away. And so I think you got to do what fits your town and your community. You got to make your kids aggressive. You got to take pride in knocking people off the ball, and don't try and do things that you can't. Okay, we got in gun for 5 plays this year because we could. It was obvious that our center and our quarterback could handle it. We don't try and do stuff that our kids haven't mastered in practice. So I'd say in closing, this is what works for us, the Chapman Irish, philosophy-wise, and I hope that you can take something from it. But this doesn't work for everybody, but it works for us. So thank you so much for allowing me to talk to you guys today, and appreciate Nick for giving me the chance to talk here. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.